Hey everybody! So today we're going to have another perfume sort of sit down and chat when we're going to be discussing two fragrances, and today I picked a fragrance from my current rotation, one that is extremely well known and very widespread in terms of its use, and one fragrance that is a niche, wonderful niche pick that probably you might have not heard of previously, and now you might have a bit of exposure to this scent. The second scent, the niche scent that I will be discussing, is very unisex, leaning towards pretty masculine. So if you're a guy, listen up. This is going to be a really nice one for you. So the first fragrance we're going to talk about is going to be, of course, Angel Original Eau de Parfum. Was originally composed in 1992. So it's not a new to the market perfume. And it's in 2007 it received a FIFA Fragrance Awards for well, being a bestseller basically. In the 90s it created a whole genre of fragrances. It was one of the first ones in its own right. It's a gourmand patchouli, fruity based fragrance, one of the very first gourmands of its kind. It is indeed now not so innovative. It doesn't seem so outlandish or outrageous because we've been so conditioned to feel like gourmands are just a regular type of scent. So it's really nice to have a historical piece to remind us where this whole thing came from. Now, I have to say that this is not the kind of fragrance that I normally would go for if I wasn't young when it came out, if my memories weren't centered around this fragrance, if it wasn't something that I've been smelling for so many years, it is very likely that I probably wouldn't like this fragrance because gourmands are not my favorite genre, and secondly, this is super patchouli based. Fragrance is a dirty patchouli bomb. And normally I don't really like patchouli. I mention it very frequently that I don't like it, so whenever I find a fragrance I can tolerate with the dirty patchouli, I do mention it. This one I don't think I would be able to tolerate, to be quite honest with you, if it wasn't just ingrained in my memory as a fragrance. That's what perfume smells like. This is my second bottle of it. You know, I've had it for so many years, and yet I've only used up one bottle. Now, this is also a testament to the fact that it's not my usual kind of fragrance, so I don't reach for it all the time. But secondly, I have to say that this is a monster in terms of sillage and longevity. It's an absolute ideal for a perfume. This is how a perfume should last. The definition of a nice perfume is something that projects and lasts extremely well, and definitely Angel reflects that. Its formulation is brilliant in its quality. It lasts for weeks on clothes. It lasts an entire full day with 1 to 2 spritzes on skin. Just genius formulation. The longevity is ridiculous. It's ridiculous for sure. The downside of this kind of a longevity and sillage is the fact that if somebody has a sensitivity towards this fragrance, it's going to be a monster to wear. It's going to irritate them to no end and continue irritating them for hours and hours to come. Unfortunately, also, this kind of a patchouli scent usually has a very clear division of the population into people who love dirty patchouli and people who really don't like dirty patchouli. I actually fall to the I don't like dirty patchouli side of things, but still I want to discuss Alien because it is universally accepted to be quite a genius piece. So yes, it's very headache inducing. Lots of people are very sensitive to the scent. Please be aware of that when you're wearing it. Generally, I wouldn't recommend it for work because in workplace, I think it's a bit too sweet, a bit too strong, a bit out there, and just a bit intrusive. So for workwear, I would say maybe keep away if you can. If you really want to wear it at work, limit yourself to just a single spray in a day so that you don't bother other people around you, and also so that you aren't losing your focus. You know, the workwear fragrance should really be something that sucks you in, collects you, sharpens your mind. I don't think this can do that. This is more of a sexy, fun, daring fragrance. That's what I see when I see Alien. Apart from the very dirty patchouli that I noted previously, it's quite earthy, it's edgy, it's a bit rugged. It has some chocolate The kind of chocolate that I smell in it is the Lindt chocolate, like dark chocolate, 70%, with some caramel, but the caramel is salted. It's salted bits of caramel laced into the chocolate. This is the kind of chocolate that is in here, the caramel salty kind. There is some fruit, there's some flowers that are not discernible. It's mostly edible sort of fragrance. There's tons of sweet vanilla. It's very bakery kind of scent, and the fruity base, it comes through quite a lot. There's a sugared plum that is discernible. I can also smell red berries and possibly other dried fruit in there. So I have to note that if you want to have a somewhat more wearable, less patchouli heavy version of this fragrance, still with angel DNA but completely cleaned up, I would recommend you smell the Eau de Toilette. I actually prefer the Eau de Toilette, but I do not have it at the moment. It is on my to get list for the future. So this is a heavy hitter, definitely something that needs to be dosed very carefully, and something that needs to be used in a controlled manner. Time and place are very important. This fragrance, I usually divide fragrances into what kind of person would wear it and what kind of place it would fit into, time and place it would fit into. So for this one, I would imagine a person. This person is a bit of a 90s kid. There's a dustiness to this fragrance. By the way, men can wear that too, but it's not as universally unisex, rather masculine than the next perfume I'll be talking about. But I don't see any reason why men cannot wear Angel. I think it's possible, but I think it's kind of too sweet probably for majority of men out there. However, some pull it off brilliantly. So the person who I imagine wearing it is a lady, and that lady is quite eclectic. It's a Sarah Jessica Parker in Sex and the City kind of lady. So she's possibly sort of out there, quite sexy. Her style is sort of all over the place. It's not pulled together. She's creative. She's not working in a profession that requires you to be pulled together and very professional. She's emotional, but she's happy and adventurous and out there and wants to try everything. That's the kind of lady I imagine wearing it, and there's no age on this fragrance. I think any age can wear it, from teenager to 70s, if you have the kind of heart. If you have the heart for it, go for it. So the second fragrance that I'm going to discuss is a beautiful niche pick. Not a very well-known fragrant house. It's an Italian fragrant house. It was founded in 1968. And this businessman previously had produced candle wax for candles in churches. And then he branched out, opened his own production of fragrances and beautiful candles with fragrant aromas. So they created a line of perfumes since 1968. It's about probably 24 to 28 perfumes that are available in their line. I have 2 of them, and most of them are really very, very unisex. Let's see the inside. It's beautifully presented, very nice box. Here is a bottle. Every bottle of the fragrance comes with a screw top cap, so you can actually unscrew the sprayer top and put on the sealable cap in an effort when you're not using your perfume to make sure that no air gets in and therefore the perfume stays true to its original scent for longer. Also, another thing, most of their fragrances come in opaque bottles. This one is in matte black, very beautiful, which also prevents the fragrance from spoiling, as it makes it more difficult for light rays to penetrate. I think this one is pretty much zero penetrance. This particular fragrance, the scent that we're going to be talking today about, is La Donna Natal. What a gorgeous, gorgeous scent. It really is a unisex fragrance, but leans pretty heavily on the masculine side. I love wearing those types of fragrances. They make me feel very powerful and luxe, and like I'm gonna go and kick ass, basically. But I think on a man, this will smell exceptionally sexy and just delicious. There's a lot from the gourmand side. The fragrance is really a place and a time for me in this case. So the scent itself revolves very heavily around smoke and some liqueur or maybe a cognac. Very powerful scent of expensive alcohol is there. They claim it's cognac. I would say it kind of smells maybe slightly fruity, so maybe a liqueur of some sort. But I agree, cognac is cognac, fine. It smells very expensive. There is also, apart from the smoky aspect, there is a lot of wood in the fragrance, and there is a very sturdy base of tobacco running and lacing through the fragrance. It's really saturating all of the levels of the fragrance. The tobacco is very, very present, along with the maybe fireplace sort of scent. There is a little bit of sweetness to the scent. It's a very sexy sweetness of honey, but the perfume itself is really not sweet necessarily. It's more of a it's more of a very subdued undertone of sweetness, but it still comes through. That sweetness is what makes this fragrance unisex, in my opinion. Otherwise, it'd be super, super, super masculine. The honey is waxy. It's a waxy kind of honey. You can tell that it smells very realistic. It creates a very strong association with perhaps honeycombs. Interesting scent, reminiscent of perhaps 19th century, end of 19th century, beginning of 20th century. Beautiful library with very tall ceilings and very tall bookshelves. There is this subtle woody bookish smell that comes through quite heavily in the fragrance, and maybe ladders that you have to climb up to reach certain books on certain high shelves. And the scene is complete with maybe dusk or maybe darkness of the entire library, but a person is sitting next to the fireplace drinking an expensive glass of cognac and maybe flipping through an old encyclopedia just absentmindedly. The chair is facing the fireplace. The fireplace is burning and crackling, and the chair itself is either old velvet or maybe leather. That's the kind of associations that this perfume creates for me. It's a very, very nice pick, I would say, if you're a guy and you're looking to smell like a gentleman, to smell expensive, to smell like perhaps you own a chateau in France somewhere and you have that fireplace and that library. This is the kind of imagery that is evoked by this scent. It accesses our idea of that time period. It accesses our idea of aristocratic environment. I would say quite obviously this scent is a huge find for any guy who wants to try a very luxe alcohol and tobacco scent, or for a lady who is kick-ass and knows what she wants. This kind of a scent is very daring on a woman and very unconventional. Interesting, very interesting pick. If you want to smell like nobody you know, probably this fragrance is going to provide you with that. I would say the quality and the feel of this fragrance is somewhat close to by Kilian perfumes, at least the samples that I have tried. This is quite a lovely, lovely find. I do recommend you test it out if you have the same emotional response to the fragrance as I do. Also, the packaging is so beautiful. I think it would make a wonderful gift. It is clearly an extremely nice fragrance. You can see also quite nice detailing. It has these wooden panels with the name of the fragrance, and here as well on the fragrance itself you have these beautiful wooden panels made out of actual wood to sort of accent the design. So this is it for today. I hope it was fun for you to listen about some of the fragrances from my collection. Currently this one is in my rotation. Hope you have a good day. See you later. Bye bye.